Now, 16 million isn't a small number, but if you asked pretty much all of those 16 million people what they needed to do to get a handle on their weight, their health, their fitness, to stop these illnesses and diseases happening, pretty much everyone would say exercise. Exercise is the answer. It's a simple answer, but it's not easy. If it was easy, then everyone would be doing it and we wouldn't have such high rates of obesity and obesity-related illnesses. And in the last 10 years, I've asked hundreds and hundreds of people what their biggest barrier to exercise is. And there's three main things that come up. And I'm going to tell you those three things now and how I believe you can solve them. The number one reason I hear from people is they lack motivation. Motivation is the biggest barrier to them achieving the results they want. And if we think about it, back maybe when we were younger, certainly my generation, I'm 42 years old, so when I was a kid, there was no need for motivation to exercise. If someone came and knocked on the door for me to go out and play, I'd be running around. I needed a bike and a football, and I was happy. There was no need to be motivated to exercise. You're playing with your mates at school, it was PE, possibly sports as well, and so we'd get plenty of exercise, and it was fun. And then as you go through school, there was probably sports teams and PE and all that kind of thing, maybe into college and university or after school. You're in those kind of teenage and early 20 years where exercise is still something you can have fun with, often in team sports or keeping fit in other ways. But then real life takes over. We get jobs, people get married, they have families, life happens. And suddenly exercise moves down the pecking order. And often we feel like society is telling us we have to exercise in order to look a certain way. Certainly previously it was magazines, especially for women, where magazines were telling them they had to be a size 8 or a size 10 and that they had to go to the gym all the time in order to achieve this. And now with the rise of social media and the filtered pictures and Photoshop pictures of every single fitness model, every single person on there's a fitness model, six packs, airbrushed, tiny waists, big bums, all of that kind of stuff, means that exercise seems like a chore to people. The fun's come out of it. And if you think about life being really busy and people have jobs and kids and families and appointments and all of that kind of stuff, and then they're being told they've got to go and exercise in a place that's unenjoyable, often lonely and boring like a gym, where they don't really know what they're doing and there's no sense of camaraderie like maybe when we were in team sports or doing PE as a kid or playing out with our mates. All the fun is sucked out of exercise. So in order to find motivation, in order to eliminate motivation as a reason, we need to bring the fun back into exercise. And there's a number of ways we can do that. First of all, doing it in a group is normally a good way to have some fun and also some accountability. So if that motivation does waver a little bit, there's other people relying on you. Now that doesn't necessarily have to be team sports. That can be exercising in a group, finding a group exercise session, finding somewhere where there's other people almost relying on you to turn up. And if you can make sure those people are like-minded people, people that you share interests with and maybe find an affinity with, then you can bring that fun back to exercise and you actually start to look forward to exercising. And if you look forward to exercising, if you can't wait till your next exercise session, whatever that is, whatever floats your boat, then you're not going to need motivation. You're going to reduce the need to be motivated. And it just becomes part of your life and something you're having fun with. So motivation is the number one reason why people don't get exercise. The second reason that I hear, and I have heard for the last 10 years, with people who struggle to get the recommended amount of exercise is time. Life has become busier. Over the last 10, 20 years, everything's more hectic. We work longer hours. There's more traffic on the road, so commuting takes longer. There's more for people's kids to do, so there's lots more running around and clubs and schools, and there's loads and loads of things that are a drain on our time. And we value our spare time and our free time even more because there's less of it. So after a really busy day where maybe you've got up in the morning, you've made your kids breakfast and prepped their lunches and had your own slice of toast as you're running out the door, then you go and do a full day at work where you don't really get a lunch break, just work all day. Then you come home and you've got life admin to do, appointments, shopping, ferrying the kids around, all of that kind of stuff, making dinner. And then you get to that time after dinner and you think, well, I've got like an hour to myself. It's going to be pretty obvious that we don't want to go and spend that hour in a gym, sweaty, hot, sore, with people we don't know. If you think about that hour as well, and that 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise that is recommended to be done, that's half an hour's worth of moderate intensity exercise every night. Let's say that's half an hour on a treadmill. By the time you get to the gym, get changed, queue for a treadmill, warm up on the treadmill and do your 30 minutes and then get home. You're talking an hour to an hour and a half every weeknight. And then you've got to go back and do those 2 resistance training sessions on a weekend, for example. That's a lot of time, and most people don't want to spend that time. So my advice and my tip, and what I've found has been so effective for people over this last 10 years that I've been coaching, is to find something that's more bang for your buck. High intensity training is great. You can do it for a shorter period of time if you do it in a way that is quality over quantity, and you can do 2 or 3 sessions a week. If you can incorporate resistance training into that, like we do here at HitSona, using our hip machines, then you're going to be able to just maybe 2 or 3 sessions a week, get that exercise done and get it out of the way without eating into loads of your time. Another way to do that is to incorporate other things. So, for example, walk the dog, try and exercise with your children, get out. It doesn't have to be high intensity. So if you are able to go for a half an hour walk every night, you're only then needing to fit your resistance training in somehow. But trying to double up these things or reduce the time you spend is the way to get over that barrier. And the third barrier that I hear from people is cost. Cost and value. Now, most people have spent the last however many years they've been exercising wasting money on various fads and clubs and gym memberships. Because we only spend money and want to spend money on things we get value for, that we see results from. If, for example, we're buying a new bed, we're not too worried about what the bed's made of, exactly what size it is, what shop it comes from. What we're actually paying for when we buy that new bed, that new mattress, is a great night's sleep and all the benefits that a great night's sleep brings. More energy, we're less stressed, we're less ratty with people, we feel better in the morning, we feel more refreshed, and what that leads to is better relationships, better performance at work, more fun, more laughter in your life, all of those kind of things. So that's what we're actually spending that money on when we buy a new bed. So when we're talking about fitness and health, we're paying for results. And if you buy a standard gym membership or you join a diet club and you don't get the results you want, it doesn't matter if it's cost £1, £100 or £1,000, it's a waste of money. And so many people have spent years and years spending money on things that have been a waste of money. They haven't got results. They've gone to a gym and not known what they're doing, not been motivated to do it, not stuck with it, had no one checking in on them or looking after them through the journey. They don't understand the principles behind getting in better shape. And that leads to a feeling of, well, what's the point in spending any more money on health and fitness because I just waste it and I don't get results? My tip to how to overcome that is to find something that you enjoy, find something that is effective, and look at it long term. Most people who have, say, put on a couple of stone or have increased a couple of inches around their waist or dress size haven't done that overnight. The promise of losing a stone in a week to get to your target weight or, dropping 3 dress sizes in 6 weeks, it's often not going to happen. You need to find something sustainable that you can enjoy, that you can stick to, so that you get the long-lasting results that health and fitness bring. The more energy, more confidence, better relationships, more effective at work, a happier, healthier, longer life. That isn't going to happen overnight. You need to find something you can stick to. So motivation, time and cost are the 3 biggest reasons that over 16 million people in the UK don't get enough exercise. Now here at HitSona, we tackle those 3 issues with fun exercise, quick and effective exercise, and a cost-effective option that gets people results. The link of how to get in touch and how to join us is in the description below. If you want any help, please reach out. I'd love to know what the biggest barrier to you is. Drop that in the comments, what the biggest barrier to you is in getting the right amount of exercise in.